West Mamprusi is one of the 20 districts in the northern region of Ghana. The district is predominantly rural, with more than 70% of the population living in rural settlements. About 80% of the people depends on agriculture for their livelihood. The main land uses reflect the almost total rural base of the district economy, with the smallholder farmers representing the main user of agricultural land, that is cultivated mainly with cereals, including maize, millet, sorghum and Guinea corn, pulses, watermelons, vegetables and tuber crops. Less than 1% of the rural population has access to electricity and fossil fuel. So two of the main problems are the low pace of rural electrification and the increasing use of charcoal and firewood for cooking, which result into overexploitation of forest resources. The heavy demand on the vegetation for domestic energy use is causing land and environmental degradation, which is accelerating desertification processes. Because of the absence of electricity infrastructures, communities' livelihoods are affected by the high fuel prices that seriously impact on the access to fossil fuel for lighting and for running engines. But the lack of organized local business and cooperative groups and the lack of skills for enterprise development are the main problems in West Mamprusi. As a fence nearby the houses, a plant is used. A poisonous plant, resistant to high degrees of aridity. Jatropha curcas, whose seeds contain up to 35% of oil. Jatropha is one of the main protagonists of the Ghaja project.
Ghaja è un progetto che nasce dall'intuizione.
The Ghaja project was developed from an idea of Harba Diallo, a dear friend of mine, a great person. At that time, he was the outgoing executive secretary of the UN Convention to Combat Desertification and Drought. He asked me, seeing as how you are involved in so many projects on rural development, why don't you try it with Jatropha? Hence, it was an idea from the same region in Africa where it was then implemented, the northern region of Ghana, in close synergy with Kumasi University. Our role was both to co-design strategies and to find the stakeholders who then became our project partners. We designed a bottom-up approach to directly involve the local people. We needed specific scientific knowledge about the peculiar characteristics of the target area. Hence, we joined the partnership of local research organizations. We needed the supervision of the authority responsible for the design of the local rural development, which corresponds to the local representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture.
L'agricoltura che si chiama MOFA e che si occupa di queste cose.
Jatropha, which aims at bettering the communities in terms of fuel needs, in terms of income. We intend and MOFA embrace the project to enable the beneficiaries also earn some income through the production of Jatropha. Farmers' attitude towards devoting all their time or good time for the production of Jatropha was initially not the best. And it is because I think it's natural of farmers that they think that they were not seeing any dividends initially. But when some of the platforms were set up and they begin to see oil flow from their seed, they found that yes, this is a good thing and they could benefit from it.
Here we are now in the Parigu community, where we installed the first facility. On the basis of the experience gained from this experimental facility, we installed another 2 facilities in other communities. Jatropha is repellent for animals as it produces a lattice after the first 6 months from planting. So Jatropha is often used as an edge or fence to keep away animals and from food crop fields. It is also used as a hedge near houses. The popular belief is that Jatropha can also be used to keep off snakes, which are one of the major causes of death in this area, and also mosquitoes.
In questa zona e anche per le zanzare.
My interest came up as a result of that hypothesis. First, we should be able to know the effect of Jatropha on the soil so that we'll be able to give proper agronomic technologies to the farmers. We identified degradable areas in the West Mapusi area, and that is where the project is concentrated. We have accumulated enough data on Jatropha production in the area.
We have realized that the cereals are very sensitive to intercropping, therefore, which means that if you intercrop cereals with Jatropha, you get lower yield. But if you intercrop legumes like cowpea and soybean, you don't have any effect on the yield. And we did this because this was to determine what we actually want to translate into the community, since it's a community development project.
TCC designed and came out with the decorticator, which works at the rate of 240 kilograms of Jatropha fruits per hour. To have a good production machine for the extraction of the oil, we needed a very good expeller. Unfortunately, we didn't have that technology in Ghana, so expellers were imported from China, and these are the expellers that we have been using. Now these expellers have the capacity of 4 to 5 tons per day.
This project has been a surprise for us. We're learning how to get some benefits from the extraction of the oil from Jatropha seeds. But the most important thing is that we have started to join together in order to organize groups, thanks also to the precious contribution of our partners who facilitated this process. This has been really important because we've obtained training. We learned how to manage business and also to process soap. The latter was really important, especially for women who started getting some benefits from this kind of activity. I've been elected as leader, and starting from that moment, I've understood that the best way to manage things was to establish a constant relationship among all the various groups, communities, and leaders, and meet them in order to discuss how to manage facilities and face the challenges that will occur when the project will end.
my major role on this project, I serve as a facilitator between the NewEnergy and the groups that we are dealing with. And specifically, we go to the community to sensitize them on the project. We also put them into groups and then train them. We've also facilitated the monitoring and also carry out some training on cooperatives establishment and management.
In the particular Ghaja project, NewEnergy is responsible for community animation, community entry, group formation, group training, and capacity building of the communities to be able to take part in the project and also continue at the end of the project.
Dall'inizio del progetto sono state coinvolte.
Since the beginning of the project, about 1,200 people were involved, and they were proposed to cultivate the Jatropha in unused land, hence marginal and or not fertile. Farmers were proposed to dedicate 1 or 2 acres of the land for this crop, and it was perceived as an integration to their everyday agricultural activity. In such a vulnerable context of climate change, it is important to offer to farmers alternative options.
È importante offrire delle soluzioni alternative agli agricoltori.
We settled on 7 communities in which we started first with 14 groups, and we assisted the people to understand the project. And in communities where they didn't have groups, they formed groups of 30 people maximum. Over the whole period, we have supported finally working in 15 communities, and we have 37 registered cooperatives. These cooperatives were assisted by the Department of Cooperatives to understand how to operate as groups, and so these 37 cooperatives are existing in what we have divided called cluster areas. We have 4 clusters. Now, out of all the 37, we have, with the support of cooperatives, formed a district union of cooperatives, societies, so that this union becomes the body that will take responsibility for the assets and other things after the end of the project. So they can see some concrete opportunity, and I think they believe it, and particularly the women group who were responsible for the soap making. Right now when you go, you meet some very active women who are using the Jatropha oil to make soap, which improves their income.
I started learning how to process the local soap since 2004. I attended the first training in El Erigu, and second training was in overseas. I was taught how to process BF soap, key soap, brilliant soap, and demi soap during the second training. I learned how to process the round soap in 2014. I have seen that the soap making business is profitable. Those that I have trained in the communities under the Ghaja project have formed an association and started processing the soap in their various communities.
Because whatever is happening on the Ghaja project is to assist the district assembly to achieve their energy needs. So it is in conformity with even the assembly development plan.
Ghaja project started very well with an effective collaboration between the assembly as the local authority and the project implementation team.
My elders and I have been in constant consultation with the society leaders on how to take care of the fields and the platform. I always consult with the group leaders, and I don't have any problems with them.
The main task of the facilitating team is to play the role of these partners when they are away. And fortunately, they have constituted the Jatropha farmers into an association with an executive.
Anyone in the community can use any wasteland to grow Jatropha, once the person is able to get profit from the sale of the Jatropha products. When they produce Jatropha seeds and sell them, I will collect the money or the seeds from them to purchase or process food. This project is good to me.
And I think that at the end of the time, farmers will be smiling. For now, they have already seen the good aspect of it, and they are going ahead to put all their efforts so that they can make maximum benefit.
We as a community must be respectful to those management ethics to ensure the continued functioning of the machines. Every day, we always encourage and advise everyone to ensure the progress of the project and of our community. Anytime people gather at my palace, I always advise them to take proper care of their fields and the platform for the sake of the sustainability of the project. This will make us and the donors happy, just like the way they came to interact with me.
This particular project took a different turn. Unlike the large farms and all those, the approach that was used previously, this one was a decentralized approach. And with this decentralized approach, the benefits go straight to the farmers. The farmers are able to see, to handle the processing themselves.
Perché il gruppo comunque è visto come un momento di...
Because the group is perceived as a learning opportunity by participants, where people can exchange experiences and ideas. They help each other, so it is also an empowerment space, as it is a space where decisions are taken for the whole community, for the group itself. So the group that was born as a project tool to facilitate the cultivation of Jatropha fields, in fact, it was transformed into a tool for all the activities developed by the community.
Tutte le attività che si svolgono nella comunità.
And we are happy to be part of this wonderful initiative through the EU support.
Avviare un lavoro collaborativo.
Starting up a new collaborative work with new partners in a new country is quite a challenge. A challenge about knowing each other and about trading off between the parties. In the first 2 years of the project, we faced a deep drought, which was an independent variable not easy to manage, that created several problems.
Ha creato problemi durante la prima annualità di piantagione di Jatropha.
Another issue was that of technology, including testing the new machinery. Cooperation for development is not an easy job. Often, we are able to tell the results that possibly are positive, but rarely do we tell how we achieved these results.
Ma non diciamo come siamo arrivati a questi risultati.
Progetto Ghaja.
I believe that all the Ghaja project expectations have been met. Someone should also assess the actual value of the work that the local people provide in these kinds of projects. The work of these people is as valuable as the money of the rich countries, the EU in this case, which provides support. However, such countries must understand that this kind of European initiative would not have any future without the active work and participation of the local African communities.
Non avrebbe futuro se non ci fossero le braccia di coloro che partecipano a questo disegno.
Agulgo shangona, te mami ya kelwa, agwa ya ngwere.